Hey, well, today I'm angry because we are being stolen from, and it's being done officially. And I'm talking about the Federal Reserve and the ongoing debasement of the dollar. Now, you may have noticed recently this is the price of gold going back to 1976, and you can see we're back to all time highs. And what this represents is not the fact that the price of gold is rising, but that the value of the dollar is falling. And since the Federal Reserve was formed in 1913, this is what the value of the dollar has done. First, let's start by looking at what your buying power is. The buying power of $100 in 1913 through 2020, a little over 100 years, it's now $4, the original $100. This is based on official statistics, which are wildly understated. For example, here we have inflation in 2020 at the very bottom of this chart, and you can see that they show inflation is about 0.5%. I don't know if you've gone shopping for food recently or paid for college recently, but I certainly doubt that the rate of inflation is less than 1% this year. Now, one of the ways that they hide these numbers from us is what are called hedonic adjustments. And these are adjustments that hide from us the true loss of value of our currency. Now, you can see it in the gold price, you can see it in housing prices, you can see it in the prices of all things, medical services, college costs. All of these costs are not being controlled by the federal government and they float freely. That is how you can tell how much our currency is actually losing in value. Here's an annoying fact. I showed you earlier that the rate of inflation so far in 2020 is only 0.65%. The Federal Reserve is determined to have this rate be 2% per year. What this means is they are determined that the value of your currency will be reduced by 2% per year, at least. Not only that, now that there's been a period where, due to the way they count inflation, they claim that we've been running at less than 2%, they think that they should be allowed to increase this so that the 2% is an average over the last years. This is insane. They are reducing the value of our currency by 2% a year. How are we possibly going to know if the economy is growing or not? The inflation numbers are false. The adjustments that are made to the inflation, the CPI, are publicly known. For example, if the price of steak goes up, the federal government assumes that you'll eat more hamburger. These adjustments just distort the loss of value of our currency. There used to be a statement on our dollar bills which stated that they could be exchanged for silver. There's nothing like that on the dollar bills anymore. As a matter of fact, they aren't even dollar bills anymore. They're Federal Reserve notes, not dollar bills. Dollars are defined in the Constitution as a weight of gold or silver. Federal Reserve notes are just paper with printing on them. And if the value of this paper is reduced by less than 2% a year, the Federal Reserve panics. They think deflation is bad. They think that if we're able to buy more with our money, that's a bad thing. They're determined to continue to reduce the value of our currency. It's as if you were measuring something and every year the unit of measurement was reduced by 2%, and you proudly point out how year after year it's growing. This is a falsehood. It's on its face a falsehood. We need to take a look at what's happening here. I mean, when your grandparents bought a house, it cost maybe $15,000, $25,000. Now that house is $800,000. Is that because real estate has been such a tremendous investment? No, it's because the dollar is worth nothing. Think about this. In the last 100 years, it takes 25 times more dollars to buy the same things that we used to be able to buy. When I was a kid, movie tickets were $1. Now they're $8, $12, who knows? I mean, look at paperback books. It used to be $2, now it's $10. The price of everything is rising, but it's never going to rise fast enough for the federal government that loves to promote how fast the economy is growing because they're always measuring in smaller and smaller units. The price of gold increasing, the price of silver increasing, the value of stocks increasing. This is not a sign of health in the economy. This is a sign that our currency is losing value. It's losing value at a steady rate. And if it doesn't lose value at its 2% rate or more, the Federal Reserve will do everything that they can to make sure that it does. I mean, don't we have any sympathy for our children and our grandchildren to follow? Shouldn't there be some sense of stability in the currency? Currency, one of the primary functions of a currency is as a store of value. How can you possibly have a store of value? Not only that, but if you put your money into a bank, you're expected to lose money now. The interest rate that you earn on your savings, the Federal Reserve is determined to make sure that that is less than the rate of inflation, making sure that you lose money on your savings. I mean, when I was growing up, we were encouraged to save. We were encouraged to be sensible. We were told that savings generated capital improvements. The economy would grow. This would be a benefit to us all. Now the Federal Reserve specifically, are determined to make us spend our money as fast as possible because we know it's losing value. This is no long-term solution. We need to look at what happened in Germany, Venezuela, Zimbabwe. The examples are rife. And if you go back hundreds of years, you can find the French Revolution as a result of the debasement of currency. This is a disaster for the economy and for the people in this economy. Are we going to end up like Venezuela where we can't even afford the basic necessities of life? Yes, we will. Unless you have gold or silver or some other real asset that cannot be printed out of thin air, you're going to become destitute. This surge in the price of the precious metals is our first warning that events are unraveling. We're losing control of prices. For God's sake, we need to wake up.